Probably won't talk about my dream, but it's interesting where it comes from, your dreams. And I was thinking, you know how they say, the mind, brain is like a supercomputer, a biological supercomputer. So, then I thought, oh, well, then is a dream like AI generative? Like is our brain if brain is like an AI, is a dream like AI generated? And I thought, yeah, kinda. Because, the brain, if it's like a computer learns and then it gets inputs and then it outputs, and our brains will learn and associate things that we see, hear, and touch and feel, smell, whatever, with things that we've already learned. And so if we put inputs in it, it will output what it knows. So that's very much like generative AI, isn't it? So if you think of dreams as that, and if you think of your brain like that, as generative AI, is there anything truly original? Maybe that's one thing. Maybe that's not one thing, but another thing that's different, I guess. If our brains are truly capable of being original and not just generative, or not just like generative AI, which just exists or functions off of something that already exists in its data. Because I don't think that I've had any dreams in which, even though I have a lot of dreams that come out and give me ideas and then I write them all down, I don't think they're anything I've never heard of. Maybe just unique in the manner that they're put together. It's kind of like, because dreams are really weird, and so the things that are in them come from reality for the most part, or have existed, or I have seen, or considered, or can imagine already. It's just the manner in which it's put together that's maybe seems more original, even though it probably isn't, since it's, created from our brain. It's not random. I don't think. Do you think dreams are random? I don't think so. I don't think anyone believes that they're random necessarily. They come from something. It's interesting. But what is the input? What is the input that is being given from our own brains? I mean, some is obvious if there's something that happened to you recently or a day before, or something that you've been thinking about, something that has been bothering you, emotionally affecting you, then you might see it reflected in your dreams, and then things could be metaphorical, things could be literal, but that's all from partially recent input. And then there's other things that don't seem recent, and so may seem more random. But is it? Is it? How does that all work? It's fascinating. But in any case, that is what I kind of thought about, was that dreams are kind of like generative AI. A little bit, right? I mean, we've surely seen generative AI come out with some really crazy stuff, so maybe it's not so different. Maybe, or maybe not. Master, the cute doggy. Yeah. I don't know what your thoughts about that. I mean, I don't know. I had never considered that and thought about that, and so that's super, super interesting, especially if you put it into the argument about AI and the arts and creativity, you know, then you wonder, is there real creativity, or is it just that we wanna say and take and qualify and promote and lift up human created things, even though our brains are like generative AI in a sense. We don't want to legitimize things that are created by AI because it's not us, it's not human. And then I thought even deeper, like, well, we created AI, we create robots, we in the future in movies and fiction, we create synthetics that are human-like or who can think like humans, and then they seem like they have a soul because they can think for themselves. And what if, let's just say in fiction, there was a story about how maybe aliens create humans and they create us, with biological technology, and we were computers, then are we original in that sense? Like our ideas, are they really truly original or not? I guess maybe at some point they were, right? I guess a long time ago, someone had to come up with something that now exists that maybe never existed thousands of years ago, or maybe it was a happy accident, but in some cases, maybe not all. So, how do we know if an idea is truly original? How do we know that we really are creating something? I mean, we always create stuff, but it's not always original, which is fine. Lots of things are derivative, but I guess in the argument of AI being a creator, a writer, an artist, and things like that, we input, so maybe that's our creative, and then instead of using our own brains and our own skill to put it together or to make it, a computer does. So if we're saying a computer is really just our brain, but more, because it's the brains of many, it's the ideas of many that have been recorded and studied. And so if you create art that's AI related, it's from the minds of many artists, So it's as if you're saying, well, I could create myself, but obviously it only has the power of just my mind to create it, even though my references, my mind consists of ideas and data that I have personally experienced, so in that way it's unique. However, none of those things separately are super unique because I saw this art, I learned how to do this, I listened to that, and so it all creates the input or the data that my effort and my brain creates for this art, for whatever it is I'm writing or whatever. And so we say it's more legitimate because it's done by us versus the minds of many. Then, I mean, there are committees of minds that create too, but they're also human. So that's just a very interesting argument. I mean, I understand why we're fighting against generative AI and stuff, obviously. I mean, over time, in our past, robots end up taking over certain jobs, like building cars, for example. Good morning. You know, for example, factories and stuff like that. We're no longer manually building things necessarily. There's, robots and stuff. And I think, that's a industrial revolution. So it's like, I think maybe in time there'll be like an AI revolution in that sense. I just don't think people are ready for that. It's just too much change at once. I mean, I think at the time when they had robots and stuff, I don't know how fast that happened, and I'm sure there are probably people who were protesting because they would be losing their jobs, but I don't think it happened overnight. And I think in a way, maybe there's government oversight to control the use of AI for now, but I think over time it is gonna take over a lot of our jobs. And maybe in the future, with more understanding, maybe it'll be okay, because for certain things. But I think in terms of art and creativity, that's a little harder thing, because we think of that as something as what humans do, based on our own personal experiences and everything like that. We produce something that we feel is unique. But the question is it? It's really just our brain and its data that has been collected. If we put the same data, same experiences, same things into a computer, would they come up with the same thing? Like when you think about movies or books about synthetics, androids who are like human, and like, can they create? Yeah, they're creating something that might seem as unique as somebody else who might create it, who's a human, based on the input that we have given them. We've given them the minds of many artists or many experiences and memories, and now they kind of put together something, and is that any less legitimate just because they're not human? I don't know if we're ready for that. A little scary, right? Yeah, machines can build based on a blueprint, but when it comes to like more complex ideas and thoughts and images, their blueprint could be. Could you also argue that our input, that our I'm trying to use your words, what we consider expressive, what is that? What is that algorithm in our brain that makes us think that it's expressive? That is something that could be taught. One might argue, if it's an algorithm, what makes this expressive? What kind of programming is that makes this considered expressive? And how can you tell a difference if you taught a computer what expressive means? What it means to create like a human creates. You may not be able to tell the difference, because they're putting together elements. We are putting together elements from our own mind in a certain way, made from a bias. You can give computers, you can give an AI some bias because of what you teach it. What I teach a computer and AI may be different from what someone else might teach a computer and AI, and therefore you're gonna raising up this AI as well, and so they're gonna have biases, and it'll be different from that AI's, and then all of a sudden, how's that different from a human's expression? You know what I mean? That's really, I think that's where it really blurs the line. Let's see. Art is unique. Well, see, that's the thing too, though. What is considered unique? Unique to who? You could say you can program the same computer, or you can actually program the same AI exactly the same, yet they'll come out with different results. Because if you give them certain algorithm that results in multiple variables, in different variables, I think they've proven that different results could be achieved. And so what you call art, what do humans consider art and unique, is also a tough question nowadays. Like I said, or like many people who are creatives know, there isn't much that is unique anymore that has not been said, has not been done. It's just the way it's been put together, okay? So let's just say there are unique ideas, but I'm just gonna put that aside for a second. Even AI can put different ideas together that vary and different from other people's, you know? So is that unique? Is there such thing as an original idea, a unique idea? You know, it's kind of hard to say because our brains are computers themselves. You know what I mean? And where do stories come from? Not only humans have stories. If you think that a story is something that is learned and programmed, if you can program an AI to learn, it will have experiences that are different from another AI's experience, and then they will learn, and they will have memory, and they will have a story. So stories are not unique to humans either, or to living beings, honestly. Anything can have a story. That piece of wood has a story. You know what I mean? It's not alive. It has a story. And if it were able to express itself, if it had AI or a brain, its story would be very different from another piece of wood. Whatever is unique to yourself can also be unique to an AI. Absolutely. So they might not be, I'm not saying that an AI can create art that is identical to your art. In that sense, yes, it's unique. But if your art is unique, theirs can be unique as well. Because your skill in using something is a skill they can learn too, let's just say. But your nuances are not going to be the same as their nuances. An AI's nuance is going to be based on whatever input we give it and whatever it learns. So it goes both ways. Like, yes, your art will be a little bit more unique than that of the AI, but the AI's art can also be unique in that sense because it's coming from inputs that we've given it. And even though that input that we give it is from someone else, where do you think our ideas come from? Where do things come from that we learn? You know, we don't magically, uniquely learn something, you know, that, I mean, there's certain things that is considered talent. I think maybe that is something maybe worth discussing a little bit more into. But as far as like, I don't think nuance is very, very specific to humans anymore either. But talent is a tricky thing, because what is talent, right? I mean, we could be more technical about skill and talent, but then there are people who just have a talent for something, and it's the way they were built. It's the chemistry, it's hereditary. And, if you think about things like that, and you think of a body as a biological technology, then technically that is something that AI and a robot can learn over generations as well. If a robot was built for doing handstands, okay, and they built their own robot like having a child, they build their own robot. That robot is likely to be able to do pretty good handstands too if they input that knowledge into them. And that will seem like talent that is above another AI who was not given that technology. And so then you would say, well, why don't you just program that robot to have that same skill? Then will it just be exactly the same? That is a good question, because you can't really do that with humans. We can't be like, let me put my programming skill into you so that you have my talent. Just because we can't do that, though, doesn't legitimize, I can't even say it, doesn't discount the fact that that's a capability that AI or robots would have that we just don't have yet. Or, I don't know, maybe there is something like that we can do, we just haven't discovered it yet, since we are such high-tech biological technology. I just feel like there's an argument for it in all ways. And when they talk about souls and a heart, what is a soul, what is a heart, all that stuff, it's all programming in a way in ourselves. I think that there's a way to explain all of that. Yeah, legitimize. I just wanted to put another syllable in there for some reason. AI can be just another tool if you're limiting it to it being a tool. But if you give it more programming, if you make it, as human-like as possible, you can make AI be just another person in a way. Just as unique, an AI can be as unique as another person. Yeah. Okay, I need to start. I think you're the first person who's actually really kind of had a conversation with me, I guess, or interacted with me. So most of the time I'm just talking out loud, thinking out loud. But these are all legitimate questions, but but the genesis of all of this is the idea that I think maybe dreams are kind of like generative AI. In any case, I didn't get to the idea that I understand why there's a lot of fight against it, though, because, we want to have jobs. We want to be able to keep our jobs, and if our jobs are all about our own talent and skill and creativity, losing that would be a lot. Especially if it happens over a very short amount of time. I don't know that humans are ready for that. I don't think our economy is ready for that. I don't know if we're ready. Like, there are some things that come and will just never go away. The world has changed, and the AI thing is one of those things. It may never go away. We may never go back, unless technology dies, unless there's a crazy world-altering event that destroys all technology, like a global EMP. I mean, that's also possible. Hits, wastes, hit, waist, hit, waist, hit, waist. My shoulders were killing me yesterday, and I massaged the heck out of them, and they hurt. Working on my posture. I feel like I'm hunchbacked a lot. I noticed that my posture seems more correct if I start from this position. It's like if I were to keep standing like this, but put my hands down, my posture is probably better, like this, a little bit. Versus, I think naturally I want to do this. Versus that is probably straighter, probably better. So I'm also hanging a little bit to help that. I have a bar in my room that I hang off of. Anyways. So I'm going to do some additional warm-ups. If you're also doing the Yang Style 8 form, feel free to do it with me. Otherwise, I'm not teaching it. I'm just practicing myself, but I'm doing a warm-up now. Feel free to do whatever warm-up stretching that you would like to do. I'm just going to continue with mine. Like you. Yeah. Normally do 20 or 30. Something like that. And since I'm working on my lower body, I'm working a lot on my hips and my knees and legs. So I also like to do these. room back there. Hold a 90-degree angle. Trying to keep that posture. I always had trouble putting my arms behind my ears. Like, can't really go further than that. I mean, I used to have trouble just putting them up like this. Like, I can't really get them that much straighter without going like this. So that's definitely something I'm working on. Ugh. Alright. Other side. Try to keep posture even when I stretch. Trying not to pull my upper body, like my shoulders and my head, down for the stretch. Try to keep it all in the waist, in the center of my body when I pull down. I'm out of shape. Well, that's what this practice is for, ain't it? I'll let my posture relax for a second. It's actually quite tiring. It's like it's working a muscle that I don't normally use, I guess, to stand up with that posture. So I guess it's pretty good for me to continue to do that. It literally kind of hurts, not my chest, but like my lungs or the muscles around it. Now that I'm breathing with, this posture for some reason, it's like I feel muscles being used that I'm not often using, I believe. Whew. And then doing this feels really good, since it's like the complete inverse of that. Alright, so normally I do minimum 4 times. Typically I do it facing in 2 directions. But I notice that when I face away, it's not so great. You can't hear me as much if I talk, especially with that lawnmower out there. And I don't know, I find it, watching myself, I found it kind of boring unless I was actually trying to practice with me. So I'm actually going to face this way and this way instead of this way and this way. My space is limited, so I'm going to adjust for that. Now try to work on this posture. Space here. kind of move over a little bit over here. I adjusted it a bit, ended up turning myself this way for you. But it really should end where you started. Adjusting. What the what? Did I mess that up? You're supposed to be right like this, right? Oh my god. That was really weird. Focus. It was a good practice. posture check. Now on to 3. My angles are all wrong because of the space. So if you're following along with me in your own practice, my apologies if it's confusing you. Posture. Sweat. Gonna take a quick sip before we do our last one, and then we'll do a cool down. Wait, was that? I'm so confused. How many did I do? Did I only do 2? That's what confused me when I start doing it this way and this way instead of this way and this way. Did I do this way again? I'm gonna pretend this is my third time. No. I remember just doing this way because I did this. Alright. This will be the fourth time. That's right, because I remember going like this for 3. Alright. Posture check. I think I lost my posture a little bit. And also, itchy throat. I think it's all the mowing. And cool down. So shake everything out. Inhale. I'm going to try to keep our posture, even though it kind of affects the muscles on my lungs for some reason, which I think it's the good to practice, I suppose. I suppose. I suppose. Whew. All right, back to good posture. I'm actually making myself dizzy doing this. In and out with the mouth. Last one, inhale through the nose. Out with the mouth. Again, inhale and then push up. Exhale. Inhale through the diaphragm. Two more. Now we're going to keep it in the center here. Maintain posture. Inhale through the diaphragm. Through the nose. Two more. Try to maintain the posture. In Qigong and Tai Chi practice, we have only done the 8-form Yang style of Tai Chi, no Qigong. But in the practice, it is taught that there are a lot of nutrients in your saliva after the practice. And so we're gonna swallow 3 times for it to go back to ourselves and follow it down each time, visualizing it going down to the center of your body, or 1.5 inches under your belly button, which is the middle, the center, your Jiantian. And also in the practice, using the center of each palm, we're gonna put them on top of the Dantian, the center of our body, like so. For men, it is said left and then right over left, and then for women, right and then left over right for women. Now, this is something that has been taught. I don't really fully understand the origins of it, so feel free to adopt this practice or not. It's up to you. I think it has to do with meridian lines. It's just the practice. And since I don't understand it enough, I'm just doing it as it is for now. Feel free to close your eyes and do it in your own time, and then drop your hands when you're done. I myself am still learning, so I hope to learn more about what I am practicing. And until then, I'm doing it as instructed / as I am practicing. So again, this is not a class. I'm not telling you what you should or should not be doing. Take what you will. And that is it. And I like to end with the traditional salute. Heaven and earth. Or as I like to also adopt the idea that this is art and friendship, love, and peace together, respect.